this trend of prefabrication, developing out your own manufacturing facility and floor, developing your floor plan. What are the operations in it? The core competencies of contractors before was construction. We know how to build a building. We know how to keep it safe. We know how to do all this. But now you're introducing a new industry within an industry, manufacturing within construction. And the operations that it takes to run that operation is slightly different. And we need to understand what is the workflow and how do we move forward with it. So whenever we design a model within Revit or Vin 360 or whatever you might be using, is how do you connect the pieces and get the information to the next person in line, like a Domino's ordering menu, all the way through from design, detailing, manufacturing it, to logistics, to stage it, to building it in the form and taking it to the field and installing it and tracking it all the way through. There's systems that say they do that, but again, going back to all that gray work all the way in between, it's more than just saying, here's the information. Did you build it? Did you ship it? Again, all of the in between, how did we estimate it? How much time is being spent building it? Are we going out for offsite assemblies? What if the assembly, now that we're building it, isn't what the field needs? And so what is interesting about it, that you mentioned, is doubt. A system like this that I've seen was building trust. So the first 5 pieces off the prefab line, the first articles of yield, might not be right, right? And so we can throw up our hands and say, you know what, this doesn't work, this is all crap. Or what if we use a system like Quickbase to get that feedback in and we improve upon it and get that information for the next one and the next one and the next one until we form that trust, until we understand that what you're doing in terms of data, as well as the physicalness of a prefabricated unit, matches what I need in the field because it is brand new trend of what's coming into the industry. All of that has to mesh. It's not one or the other. It's not just a phone call. So capturing the time. Everybody's asking, is prefab saving or costing us more money? How are you going to track all of the cost that comes into it? So we did build out a prefab tracker actually, and moving it from left to right. And it was incredible to kind of see that evolution. And what was nice about it is version 1 was 2 tables that was kind of like, okay, the request, we got that in. It evolved over time to match what the workflow is that we wanted it to be, because our prefab shop is going to be different than your prefab shop, because we're going to be building different things, different workflows, and how does that move forward with it? And it was a nice add-on to our realm and ecosystem.
I love where this conversation is going. I think the one lean thing we haven't talked about is batch and pull, because I feel like that's the whole thing with prefab, right? Is that you're kind of starting to rethink. And this is a concept for me, like as a lean person, you think that you would just pull everything. Like everything should be just in time, everything should be ready, everything, here we go. And batch it, everything that's batching is appeared to be waste. But I think, the reality is that, I mean, shit, like look at Amazon and the way Amazon works. Like those giant warehouses are batching all of those things that have already been made that you're going to buy online, so that they can pull them right away really quickly to get them to you.
Right.
But someone else had to batch them way ahead of time and do those large orders. We were talking about grocery stores earlier and all the economics of that, which we don't need to go into.
Yeah.
But I think, I think regardless of what change or what digital transformation you're trying to do within your organization or within the construction supply chain, like where have we previously batched that we're trying to pull, and where we maybe pulled before where it's better to batch. I think that's always something that I think about in these situations, and I'm sure from a manufacturing mindset, you bring a unique perspective.
Yeah, it's interesting because in construction you are designing, right? There's a purpose between PLD, VDC. What are they bringing to it? And this piece of overhead conduit racking is going to be different maybe from that one. But can you actually set up a manufacturing line in your prefab shop, have enough look ahead of what is the schedule telling us, and can we build our systems around that to support it? If you think you're going to do that with just phone calls and looking at drawings online, you're not. You need a system to see what is forthcoming, and then how do we arrange, and do we have enough manpower and resources to supply the manufacturing shop of what we have at prefab as well? So leveraging all these lean techniques, it's not one or the other. It's how do we bring it all together?